How are you doing, man?
Yo, long time. Where have you been?
Well, where have I been? Everywhere. I'm in Brazil right now.
Brazil.
I'm coming back to Brazil. This is my first time in Brazil since 2016. I closed the Paralympic ceremony here. Little flex there.
Amidst everything, you've been very busy and suddenly a single drops. And I'm thinking, how the hell do you do all of this? Like, how do you you're doing tours all over the world and then there's a single that pops out of nowhere. And I know it's something that you performed before, but I mean, this is the official drop. It's out there. I don't know where you got the time. It doesn't matter though, because it's a beautiful song. Honestly, it is a song that speaks to the places where I think authentic sort of love exists. You don't want perfection. You want someone that's got your back at your worst. And let's go through that process.
I think At Your Worst is one of the songs that came to me quickest. I feel like At Your Worst was pretty much done in a day. The initial idea was done in a couple of hours. And I think it's because, like with all of my music, I just go from a really authentic place. I just come from a real place. And before the session, and this has only happened to me a couple of times, but before the session, I was having a bad day, Carl.
Yeah.
Terrible day. Things wasn't going right. I was a little bit anxious. I was a bit panicky. I've been on the road a long time, so I was missing people. And I was just a bit fed up. And in those moments, you tend to take it out on the people closest to you, you know?
Yes.
You say something you don't mean, you get into an argument. It isn't what you want, but you're emotional, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd had that, and I'd been on the phone with one of my best friends, and I'd said some stuff I didn't mean. And I came off the phone, and I turned to my producer, and I was like, I know that sometimes I can be hard to love. And he's like, wait, what? Wait, let me get a pad, let me get a pen. And he's like, tell me what you're thinking. I was like, I just know that sometimes I can be difficult to love. You know, I'm away a lot, I get anxious, I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, but I just hope that people can love me through that. And he was like, yeah, like loving somebody at their worst. And I was like, you got it, baby. We started writing from that place. And it come from like a place of being like, when I'm anxious and when I'm, you know, crippled with anxiety and I'm away a lot, I hope there is somebody out there that can love me at those moments, because those are my worst moments, I guess. And it just came so organically. The lyrics came quite easy. And then what is interesting about this song in particular is that it differs from the traditional Calum Scott DNA.
Yeah.
Like normally I'd be like, let's stick a beautiful piano down. Let's get some beautiful string sections. I want to cry. And I didn't do that. We just had this like cool little sort of almost like Stranger Things-esque kind of bop. And I was just like, this sounds really cool. And we went with it. And what was in the demo has hardly changed for the finished record.
Oh.
It was really crazy how quickly it came together. And I feel like this song can be as lighthearted or as deep as you want it to be. And I feel like that's the same with all of my music for sure. But this song in particular, Your Worst, could be you've just got out of bed, you haven't brushed your teeth yet, you smell like that could be your worst. Or your worst could be, you know, you've shut everybody else out and you're consumed with your anxieties and your insecurities and your worries. And that could be your worst. And I feel like we all deserve to be loved in those moments, because being loved through those moments makes us, you know, gets us through our worst and we could become our best. And I feel like, you know, it's a little bit of a self-love kind of love letter. But it could be a song that you sing to somebody. You know, I love you at your worst. I love you even when you're telling me you don't love me, you don't care about me. I love you through that.
And that's the write-up. Actually, I had something very similar in terms of what you said.
Okay.
I mean, mine was in a very, very quick nutshell. It's just that in a world where people strive for perfection and they believe that their ideals and their wants with regard to perfection will get them the affirmation they believe that they deserve, perhaps the affirmation they seek is in the authenticity of being at your darkest and maybe most down moments, but having somebody there that, as you said, still will have your back. Somebody still would be saying to you, you know what, I know that this is not like an easy time, but I'm not here for all the good times. I'm here for the bad times too. I'd like you
100%.
to just be yourself in this moment over here. Don't be perfect for me. I think that's the problem, is that we have so many things around us where we're just striving for this perfect type of thing. Like, I want the Notebook love, or I want that Notebook type of thing, or I want the Crazy Stupid Love movie type of love. But I think that what we need is that authenticity, and with authenticity comes imperfection. With imperfection comes a beautiful moment for a song like this, and I think that's the special thing about it.
100%.
Yeah,
you're so right. I mean, and you know that, you know, when you're talking about that being something you can say to somebody,
yes,
just as much as it can be an internal dialogue, you know. And you know, we convince ourselves of all the worst things, but we forget about the little angel on our shoulder to remind us that no, yeah, I know you're going through some rough times now, but I still love you. You know, you still should be loving yourself. And
yes,
I think it's important in this day and age, because you know, we're showing things all the time that are unrealistic and that are changed and manufactured to make it look the most perfect it can. And it's unrealistic, you know. And I feel like, especially for the younger generation, I worry for them, because they're showing a world that isn't necessarily achievable in some respects, and everybody's social media is usually a highlight, you know, a highlight of their life or of their job or of their family.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you're feeling low and you're feeling insecure and you're looking at people's content, then you're going to measure that way above your own if you're not going through the same sort of things as they are. And I just want people to remember that it isn't, unfortunately, life is not a fairy tale. And sometimes like bad things happen and horrible things happen. And I think the reason why I think it's so important that it comes from somebody like myself is that people will naturally look at what I do and say, oh my God, like, he must be having the time of his life. And don't get me wrong, I am living my dreams and I pinch myself all the time about it.
Yeah.
But I still feel like from time to time, and I still put myself down, and I still give myself a hard time. And I think, you know, we all do, because we're all human. That's what we all share.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so important to show people that, and to remind people that even when you're going through your worst, please, like, don't give up on yourself and love yourself, and remember that dark times pass, just like clouds in the sky.
I just hope you know that at many, many people's worst, they turn to your music, Calum. That's why the song is so important. I can tell you that just this past week, I do this thing on my show called Psychology, because, you know, I love people being honest with their emotions, okay? And yes, I added Carl the word psychology. It made sense.
I love what you did there, yeah.
So people will send in messages and say, hey, Carl, I'm having a bad day. Play me a song. You'll be surprised. No, you won't, actually. A song that pops up as a remedy is Rise, your song.
Oh, nice.
And just this past week, I played it for somebody who was going through a lot, and they just needed something to help them understand that it would be okay. They were at their lowest ebb, but they needed to know that they could rise again. And they chose your song, which means that in the music is the remedy, is the narrative, is the understanding and the solace. And that's essentially what At Your Worst is once again. Rise is a lifter. It lifts people up. At Your Worst it's a story to tell you and reassure you. Even Calum has bad days. Calum's not a perfect dude, all right? No, not at all. Not at all. However, the real perfection is in having that unconditional love for people around you. And I think that's the power in it. So I needed to share that little anecdote with you, because that song Rise has been the tonic for so many people. And I believe that this one, At Your Worst, is going to be another top psychology remedy song that I'll be using in weeks to come. So thank you for adding to my little kit.
Yeah, likewise. I am a servant of the people. I literally perform to serve. I am there for people. I say it in all of my shows. I'm there if you need to have a moment and you need to just let it all out. I'm there if you want to dance like nobody's watching. I'm there at your wedding day. I'm there at a funeral. I'm there whenever people need me, because that's all I've ever wanted to do, is help people. That's why I wanted to be a physiotherapist. That's why I wanted to be a psychologist, is because I just want to try and take, like, a little bird that's broken its wing and just, you know, let it fly again. I feel like watching somebody really sort of having had some of help or advice or some even just some soothing, just watching them become the best version of themselves again, it is everything to me. It's the same with my friends, it's the same with my family, it's the same with my fans. So I'm just lucky enough to be in a position where the people keep putting me here in order to be able to do what I love to do.
Beautiful message, Calum. Thank you so much for joining me today, and congratulations on the new song. It is amazing. And enjoy Brazil.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody at the station there for supporting this new song. Honestly, it means the world, Carl.
It's all good. Whenever you drop something, just get ready for a Zoom call or an interview if you're in the area. We got your back, okay? Yeah, sooner or later, I'm going to fly over to across the pond, and I'll do an interview on that side. I'm telling you, I'm putting that into the universe. It has to happen. You've been in my hometown. I need to be in yours. Good to see you again.
Thank you, God. Lots of love, Carl. Thank you, everybody.